Hi children, I am going to continue history first lesson now. Let us have a quick recap what we learned till now. Till now, we have learnt about the three periods in European history, that is ancient period, medieval period, early modern period. And during this ancient period, Europe was dominated by a Roman Empire. And this Roman Empire declined in 400 AD. During medieval period, a new social system, feudalism, came into existence. Remember, feudalism was the main feature of medieval Europe. And under this feudalism, small farmers who were called as serfs were exploited by the landlords. And during the early modern period, the small peasants resisted and revolted against this feudalism and serfdom. And so, as a result of the revolts in many countries, serfdom also came to an end. And during this period, a cultural movement called Renaissance was started in Europe. Renaissance means rebirth. There was rebirth of arts, painting, literature, science and technology, architecture, sculpture, etc. during this period. So this is called as a period of Renaissance. And this Renaissance first started in Italy. In 1453, Constantinople was occupied by Turks as part of their Islamic drive. And Constantinople was the only trade route for trade between Europe and Eastern countries. When Turks occupied it, they did not allow trade to continue. The Europeans wanted to continue the trade, so they had to discover new sea routes to Eastern countries. And Constantinople was an abode of Greek scholars. Abode means center. It was a great center of many Greek scholars. When it was occupied by Turks, these Greek scholars, they first migrated to Italy along with their manuscripts and spread their knowledge in Italy. And this led to Renaissance in literature, arts, painting, etc. And from Italy, these Greek scholars migrated to other European countries like France, England, Netherlands, and spread their knowledge there. And thus, so far, we have seen how Renaissance took place in arts, painting, literature, and also architecture. Now I have given you some homework in that part of the lesson, and I hope you have done it. Now let us start the remaining part of the lesson. Now the lesson continues. The printing press. Chinese were the first to develop paper. Later, Johannes Gutenberg, who was a German, he invented printing press. This invention of printing press brought the greatest revolution in the 16th century. And in 1455, 150 copies of Bible were printed. Bible was the first book to be printed. By 1500, many classical texts were printed in Italy. Now, these printed books were available for everyone. The students were previously entirely dependent on lecture notes because there was no other source for them. So they had to depend only on lecturers' notes. Now, since the printed books were available to buy, they need not have to depend solely on the notes given by the lecturers. They could buy the books from the market and they could study them. Ideas, opinions, and information moved more quickly and more widely to more number of people. Within less time, the information passed on from one person to another person. And people could develop the habit of reading books. And printed books were circulating more rapidly among the people. And this was the main reason why the humanist culture, which had its beginning in Italy, spread to other European countries very fast. Now, the role of woman. What is the role of woman in Renaissance? During the period of Renaissance, what was the role of woman? Men from aristocratic families means very rich families. Men from aristocratic families dominated public life and they were the decision makers in their families. And they used to educate their sons to take their place in the business and also in the family. Women generally had no say in the business. That means their word has no weightage. They were confined to household activities only. Only a few men were educated. For example, Cassandra Fedeli of Venice, she was one among those who questioned the idea that women were incapable of achieving the qualities of a humanist scholar. She felt that even women are capable of achieving the qualities of a humanist scholar and they can also become humanist scholars. So she was the first one to question. Cassandra Fedeli was famous for her proficiency in Greek and Latin languages, and so she was invited to give orations means speeches at the University of Padua. And her writings mainly focus on the importance of education in those days. Another famous educated woman was Isabella d'Este. You can see her in the photo. Isabella d'Este. She was another famous educated woman. She ruled the state when her husband was out of the state. Women's writings of this period revealed their desire that they wanted economic power, property, and education to achieve an identity for themselves in a world dominated by man. In those days also, as usual, the society was dominated by the men, and in this men-dominated society, the women wanted to achieve an identity for themselves by getting education, by getting economic power, and by getting property also. Now, Reformation movement. Children, we have already seen that the religious and cultural life of the people was dominated by the church. And in this process, the church and the church officials became very powerful, rich, and luxurious, and also corrupt. Now, let us see the causes for this Reformation movement and what is this Reformation movement. The Catholic priests of Roman Catholic Church began to lead a luxurious life, and it was bitterly criticized by many people. Actually, according to the Bible, these Catholic priests, they are supposed to lead a simple and pious life. Pious and pavitramaina. A simple and pious life they are supposed to lead, but they started leading a luxurious life. And it was bitterly criticized by many people. A movement opposing these abusive practices of the church officials was started, which was known as Protestant Reformation movement. And the movement which was started against these practices of the church officials was called as Protestant Reformation movement. And as part of this movement, independent national churches were founded in several countries. And these churches were independent from the authority of the Pope. And the movement was first started by Martin Luther in 1517 in Germany by openly rejecting the authority of the Pope and the Catholic Church. And the Pope and the other church officials were expected to lead a simple and pious life according to the Bible, but they resorted to luxurious life, and the people revolted against it. This revolt first started in England. John Wycliffe translated the Bible into English and helped the common people read the Bible and understand the teachings of the Bible. This was a serious blow to the clergy because all the people who read the Bible came to know how the church officials were deviating from the path of Bible. Now, when the people started reading the Bible, when Bible was translated into all the languages, people could easily read it and they could know how the church officials were deviating from the path of the Bible. That means they were not following the principles which were prescribed in the Bible. And they revolted against these church officials because they were deviating from the path of Bible. The common people, they revolted against these church officials. And John Huss, a professor who spoke against the church, was punished by the church and he was burnt alive. And another cause for the movement, for this Reformation movement was, in those days, In France, 1/5 of the land, cultivable land, and in Germany, 1/3 of the cultivable land was owned by the church. And these lands were exempted from taxes. As you know, taxes are the main source of income for the government. And it was a loss to the state because so much of land was exempted from taxes. Land which was owned by the church officials was exempted from taxes. They need not pay any tax on that land. And to cover this loss, as it was a great loss to the state, to cover this loss, a number of other kinds of taxes were imposed on the people. And apart from this, the church also collected a number of religious taxes from the people. And all these money thus collected through taxes was sent to Rome, and it was used for the luxuries of the Pope and the other church officials. Instead of using for the welfare of the people, this money which was thus collected from the people in the form of taxes, many taxes, it was sent to Rome and it was being used by the Pope and the other church officials for their luxurious lives. And so the kings, industrialists, merchants considered it as an act of robbing the nation of its wealth. And all these paved the way for the movement. And there is another cause also for this Reformation movement, and it is Pope Leo X. He authorized the sale of indulgence certificates. Through banks and agents, indulgence certificates were sold to the people. And what are these indulgence certificates? The people who did not observe religious practices or committed any other sins, if they bought these certificates, they were exempted from punishments. According to the Bible, different punishments were laid down, which were laid down in the Bible. For different sins, different punishments are laid down. And if people commit any sins, any type of deviation from the Bible, they can simply purchase these certificates and they can get exemption from punishments. That is the purpose of these indulgence certificates. These indulgence certificates were sold through banks and agents on payment of commissions. And these certificates were sold as bonds for commission. Thus, if anyone commits any sin, could easily get exemption from punishment just by buying these indulgence certificates. Was it not meaningless to preach that freedom from sins could be purchased by paying money? The money thus realized was again used for their own luxuries and not for the development of the churches. And such abusive practices of the church led to lot of discontent among the people, who raised their voice against the church officials. And it took the form of a movement which is called as Protestant Reformation movement. And in Germany, the movement was led by Martin Luther. In Switzerland, it was led by John Calvin. And in this context, I want to tell you a funny incident that took place in England. Already we learned that independent churches were founded which were free from the control of the Pope. In England, Henry VIII was not given permission by the Pope to divorce his wife. Then he declared himself as the head of the church and divorced his wife. And in this way, many people rejected the authority of the Pope, and even Queen Elizabeth I also established her own church and rejected the authority of the Pope. Now, Counter-Reformation movement. The name itself reveals that it is a movement against the Protestant Reformation movement because counter word is used. Counter-Reformation movement means a movement which was started against Protestant Reformation movement. Now let us see what is this Counter-Reformation movement. When the Reformation movement was growing stronger, the Catholic Church authorities wanted to bring in certain reforms. The movement started by the church officials to bring back to the church some of its lost power and authority is known as Counter-Reformation movement. Because as a result of Protestant Reformation movement, all the Catholic churches, they lost their name and fame, and they also lost their power and authority also, because the authority of the Pope was openly rejected by the people. So, to bring back some of its lost powers and authority, the church officials, they started a movement which is called as Counter-Reformation movement. In Spain, Ignatius Loyola set up the Society of Jesus in 1540, and his followers were called Jesuits, whose main mission was to help the poor. And they went to many other countries and established missions in India, China, Africa, and America. And many of these missionary schools are still existing in these countries. Now, Renaissance in science. Roger Bacon encouraged scientific outlook. Scientific outlook means everything must be carefully observed and experimented for its understanding, which leads to new inventions. That is the meaning of scientific outlook. And Roger Bacon encouraged the people towards scientific outlook. Copernicus proposed heliocentric theory, saying that the earth is not the center of the universe, but it is the sun in the center of the universe, and the earth and all the other planets revolve around it. But this theory was rejected by the church as it was against the teachings of Bible. Now let us see how it was against the teachings of Bible. According to the Bible, the man for whom the universe has been made should be in the heart of the universe. Heart of the universe means center of the universe. And it's a matter of dignity for man. And since Copernicus' theory said that the earth is not in the center of the universe, it was rejected by the church. Now, Galileo, an Italian, invented telescope, and by observing the planets through his telescope, he proved that Copernicus' theory was correct. And for this, he was summoned by a court to appear before a church court, where he was forced to take back all his teachings or else suffer long imprisonment and torture. Because he also supported Copernicus' theory, he was forced to take back all his teachings or suffer long imprisonment. When he was leaving the court, he was still saying to himself, the earth does move. He also discovered some laws of the pendulum which helped to make better clocks. After doing some experiments with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Galileo proved that heavy and light objects fall at the same speed. It was proved by Galileo after making some experiments with the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He proved that heavy and light objects also fall at the same speed. And Newton proposed the theory of gravitational force. And William Harvey, he discovered the blood circulation in human body. Now the next one is exploration of sea routes. What led to the exploration of these new sea routes? Already we have discussed earlier in 1453, when Constantinople was occupied by the Turks, the trade between European countries and Eastern countries was stopped, as it was the only land route for trade between Eastern countries and European countries, and the trade was stopped. The European countries wanted to continue the trade with Eastern countries because they were very fond of spices and luxury goods from the Eastern countries. So they had to discover new sea routes. Now let us see what are those new sea routes. In 1492, Prince Henry, the King of Portugal, sailed up to the African coast and prepared maps providing guidance to new explorers. These maps, which are prepared for the guidance of other explorers, they are called as astrolabes. And he prepared these maps providing guidance to the new explorers. Bartholomew Diaz, another sailor, reached the Cape of Good Hope in Africa. And Columbus, as you know, in 1492, he started from Portugal and he traveled westwards. And he traveled westwards 4,000 miles in Atlantic Ocean and believed that he had reached India because he wanted to discover India. He thought that he reached India, but it was not India, but it was some other islands. And these islands were not known to the world till that time. So he named them as West Indies because he traveled towards west. He named them as West Indies. And another explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, he further explored and he discovered the continent of America, and the continent was named after him only as America, Amerigo Vespucci. And later on, travelers like Coates and Pizarro, they explored Latin America. And as you know, Vasco da Gama in 1498, he discovered first sea route to India. And Magellan, he is a Portuguese explorer. He sailed round the Cape of South America and reached Philippines. And he started his voyage with 200 sailors for 3 years. And he went round the Cape of South America and around the Pacific Ocean and then reached Philippines. And in Philippines he died. And the remaining sailors, they reached back Portugal. Only 18 sailors reached Portugal back. All the other, nearly 200 sailors, they started voyage with him, and all the other sailors, they lost their lives on the way. Only 18 sailors could reach back Portugal. And he was the one who named the Pacific Ocean as Pacific Ocean because he found it very calm and peaceful. When he was going on a voyage through Pacific Ocean, he found it very calm and peaceful, so he named it as Pacific Ocean. And these explorations of new sea routes changed the course of the history of the world itself. The discovery of new trade routes brought revolutionary changes in international trade and in the world of economic sphere also. And this gradually led to colonization and ultimately paved the way for imperialism. Now you can see in the map these new sea routes which were explored by Magellan, Vasco da Gama, Columbus. Now I am going to give you homework. Read the remaining part of the lesson, underlining all the important points with pencil. And second one is complete the blanks and MCQs in the material with the help of the textbook. Learn the remaining 1 mark, 2 marks and 4 mark questions and write in your notebook without saying. From back you have to write, already I told you because it is history. Try map pointing in page numbers 22 and 23 of the material with the help of an atlas if you have.